Hello, I'm Maciej Mikos and you're watching World Talks. The Court of Justice of the European Union has ruled that Hungary's regulations concerning the LGBTQ+ community, quote, constitute a particularly serious interference with several fundamental rights and ordered the law to be scrapped. And to talk about it, we're joined by Katalin Cseh, former Hungarian MP. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Now, before we begin, I'd like us to listen to the President of the European Court of Justice and later to the leader of the TISA party, Péter Magyar. Let's give it a listen.
The full court hereby 1 declares that by introducing paragraph 6a into the Law 31 of 1997 on the protection of children and the administration of guardianship of the 8th of May 1997, Hungary has failed to fulfill its obligations under Article 3, paragraph 2 of Directive 2031 of the European Parliament and of the Council, Article 16 and 19 of Directive 2006/123 of the European Parliament and of the Council, and Articles 1, 7, 11 and 21 of the Charter of Fundamental Rights of the European Union.
A country where no one is stigmatized for thinking differently from the majority, for loving differently from the majority, for believing in something different from the majority. A country where what counts is not who is whose acquaintance, but what kind of person he or she is. A country where one can once again joyfully and peacefully choose to have children and start a family.
A country where one can once again joyfully and peacefully choose to have children and start a family, says the Prime Minister in waiting, Péter Magyar. Now, I'm wondering, how has the court ruling been received in Hungary?
Well, I think that the court ruling is very important in stating that in the EU it should be impossible to discriminate between people based on who they love and to legislate in a manner that is inhumane and against basic human dignity. I think that this ruling comes maybe a bit late, but just in time for a new government in coming to correct these. And I'm really hoping that in the upcoming years, discrimination like this will not prevail neither in Hungary and nor in the European Union.
So are LGBTQ+ Hungarians truly discriminated? And what are the current regulations exactly about, the ones that are about to be scrapped?
Well, unfortunately, over the past decade and a half, we've seen a lot of regulations and laws put in place that, for instance, bans the freedom of assembly. The Budapest Pride March last year was a legally heavily contested march, and I think it showed the strength of the Hungarian civil society that hundreds of thousands of people marched for human dignity regardless. It is very discriminatory, for instance, that any material that may show same-sex love should be put in a paper, like in a foil in a bookstore. If a bookstore does not abide by this, they can be financially fined. It's impossible for young adults to be educated about their bodies or about different manners of love. Civil societies cannot enter high schools or educational institutions to talk about important things for young children. And unfortunately, a lot of LGBTQ youth is under discrimination. They cannot have access to mental health services that would be necessary. And in general, unfortunately, the community has been the victim of a relentless government campaign that lasted way too long.
Is it also about the adoption of children?
It is impossible legally to adopt children for same-sex couples. Also, it's impossible for them to marry or to enjoy the same possibilities for a family that every other Hungarians can, which is absurd because same-sex couples, people who might love differently, they pay the same taxes, they take part in society in the same manners, and having rules that are discriminatory to curtail them in their rights should be very soon rectified.
Now, is this a controversial topic in Hungary? Now, I guess so, and I'm wondering whether it will be, one of the points of contention between the outgoing Fidesz still ruling party and the victorious TISA party in the coming years.
Well, I think there was a lot of artificial hatred generated over the past decade and a half because Viktor Orbán used the LGBTQ community as a scapegoat for their own propaganda purposes. I do think that now it is a very clear situation regarding the law we talked about, which, by the way, this law does not include the adoption of children or marriage, but other discriminatory practices. The EU court found it illegal, and I think it's very important that the new government looks into how to make this right. This is not up for debate, I think. We are part of a community. We want to enjoy the benefits moving forward, and this is a very clear point that has to be corrected.
I see. And yet you say it is not about the adoption of children, or did I get you wrong? Because that's clearly what Péter Magyar was talking about, right? A country where one can once again joyfully and peacefully choose to have children and start a family.
No, I think these are very important topics, but these are regulated in separate regulations. The laws that the EU court found unlawful is concerning the freedom of assembly and about the ban on same-sex content on materials and other fields like that. The adoption and the same-sex marriage questions are also, I think, regulated in a way in Hungary that should be changed, but these are not the laws that the EU court struck down.
I see. Now, are there more regulations that the EU institutions have on the radar and that the new government intends to change?
Oh, of course, and this has to be a very important conversation because of the corruption of Viktor Orbán and because of the unwillingness of the outgoing government to abide by EU anti-corruption rules, billions of EU money is frozen, cannot reach Hungary, and unless these laws change by the end of August, these funds will be permanently lost. And Péter Magyar has pledged numerous times during the campaign that he is dedicated to make the anti-corruption reforms a reality and bring home this money that should be spent on the development of Hungary. And I heard, and this was covered in the news, that they have already started negotiations with the Commission. They have a very good team in place. I think they are very convinced and dedicated to make these changes, and I am hoping to see these funds reaching the communities where they are really needed in this time of economic hardship.
And lastly, because I remember talking to you on the day or right after the election victory of the TISA party, how is the transition of power progressing in Hungary? Are still secret documents being put to flame by the outgoing government members?
Well, of course, the extent of damage can only be known if when the transfer of power is complete. I don't really have too much trust in the outgoing government. However, it is really promising to see that the ministers who have been named so far seem to have an excellent track record, very respected professionals from the business sector, very experienced people. And I'm particularly happy to see Anita Orbán, our incoming foreign minister, who is a very knowledgeable person and who is very firm on our commitments towards our transatlantic and European partners. And seeing her comments and the dedication of the entire government really puts Hungary in a trajectory where we can be respected partners yet again in front of our allies.
Katalin Cseh, former Hungarian MP, was our guest this afternoon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching, and stay with us for more interviews here on TVP World.